the songs that you actually sung on there were spot on, especially the one about Lonnie Johnson.
Lonnie Johnson, my friend, excuse me for getting goosebumps. Seriously, I mean, that's when you know. A chance vision of Lonnie Johnson in Toronto, I think the year was 1970. I said, who is that man playing? I recognized a friend's guitar he'd borrowed. Who is that guy? Because Yannick, you know how you got headphones on right now? He had like a golden or a bronze colored thing over his head that looked like a halo, but it was like a disc, like an aura. It was an aura of some kind. I said, who is that man? I've never seen a person with an aura before. And they said, well, that's Lonnie Johnson. He's famous. I went, really? And I didn't think about it. Then maybe, I don't know, quite a few years later, probably in the early 2000s, I happened to see a video of Lonnie Johnson. He played that lick. And I went, I can play that lick. I'm going to get a cheap guitar like he plays, a K. I'm going to play that lick, and I'm going to make up a song that I first saw him when I was 19. So I made up a song. I put it on my record. And when they came to me from TV, from Kim Mitchell's TV show, Guitar Picks, and said, please show us one of your beautiful guitars, I said, let me show you a cheap, crappy guitar, and let me play you a song about Lonnie Johnson. You take Lonnie Johnson's picture and put it up behind me on the screen. You tell the story of who Lonnie Johnson was in words. I'll tell it in song. They did that, and the owner of the network saw it. He went, that guy should have his own TV series. And that's when I knew that at 1970, Lonnie said to me, I will be your angel. See, you can see my halo. I'll be an angel for you, but tell the world who I was. And the world is finally understanding. Lonnie Johnson, before Robert Johnson, before Tommy Johnson, T-Bone, Blind Lemon, whoever, there was Lonnie Johnson. And so that song for me, that was like, wow. And I made a few bucks out of it too.
Give
Well,
or take.
you know, Yannick, I don't know if you're like me, but I think a lot of people are. When I was a little child, my mom would sing us lullabies, and she would sing that one that goes, Isla, Lila, 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 baby, in your mama's arms you're creeping, soon you'll be a-sleeping. And I just thought, wow, this is, but I was just a kid. So music was always with us. And my dad played the hell out of the harmonica. I mean, he must have heard D. Ford Bailey. He never told me he did, but I knew he had a crystal set in the 20s. He listened to Cab Calloway. But when he played the harmonica, he would do Paul Adler sometimes, that beautiful melodic thing with the chromatic. Yeah. But he also would do like D. Ford Bailey with the melody and the rhythm. So I just wanted to play, but the guitar was it for me. From 11 when I got my first classical guitar, and as a child I would play the ukulele and anything like that. I just tried to play. And my brother showed me how to go ga-dang, 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 ga-dang. What's that? Well, that's the blues. And he showed me how to play this too, Yannick. Boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, ba. Ray Charles, what'd I say? Like, wow, how easy is that? One finger. I'm in business, And then I got my first electric guitar at age 13. Mm-hmm. And then I joined my first bands. And by the age of 17, my dad said, you gotta, my roof, my rules. I said, Dad, I gotta go. He said, hand me the keys. My mother cried. I left home. And the next thing I knew, I was on the front cover of the Globe and Mail, playing some of the best lead guitar in Canada, according to Richie York, with Edward Bear, because I was a blues guy at 17, opening for Paul Butterfield, for Led Zeppelin, standing ovations. My mother's going, when did he learn this? What's my son doing? How did he do that? And, when I listened back to what I did then, I thought, what's this kid? Who does he think he is? I was no T-Bone Walker, Yannick, but people liked it.
I mean, you've got the voice to be a DJ. You've got the voice to sing. How do you manage to keep your voice in check in regards to not damaging it and keeping it healthy? Is probably the best way of putting it.
Well, my mother had a great voice. She was loud, and she could sing loud. and my father could sing perfectly in tune. Mom's pitch, so I got a bit of both from them. But let me tell you that I guess I've always been able to do the voice thing. I've always loved doing voices, doing dialect humor and things like that. But Yannick, about 2 or 3 months ago, I decided it might be fun to try smoking cigarettes again. And at the same time, I thought, I really like tequila. Maybe I should drink a little more tequila. So next thing I know, I'm drinking tequila a little too much, and I'm smoking Camel cigarettes. And I don't just smoke the odd one. I'm like, oh yeah. And my voice started to kind of give out on me a little bit. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? Here I've got this instrument, and I'm treating it like that, thinking that maybe I'll become George Jones. I mean, geez, man. So I stopped the cigarettes entirely, and my voice is coming back, and I'm taking good care of it because, wow, I realized if I ever lost it, I mean, I'm just lucky to have it. People say, oh, I was blessed, whatever they think. But, I was born this way. And so, these are the talents, these are the things I draw from. And there's nothing wrong with that, being able to draw from different areas. Like I do a lot of research for the radio program. I do a lot of writing. I love to write little articles and essays about things. And I'm now doing a special on Oscar Peterson for the radio station. And that's teaching me all kinds of stuff. I mean, you never stop learning, right?
Yeah, you'll cross probably Oliver Jones as part of Oscar Peterson's history. Now I understand, apart from guitars, you also play the piano, if I'm not mistaken.
My piano playing is not very great. I was a drummer a bit when I was a kid because I was interested in guitar. I was interested in ukulele. One day, my older brother, again, brings home a set of drums. He sets them up in his bedroom. He takes a long ball-bearing chain and he puts it down the cymbal. He says, this is how they make a sizzle. And he hits the cymbal like this, and the ball bearings are going like that, like, a stripper beat. And I went, oh my God. He said, now do this. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is great. And Mother said, there will be no drums in this house. And thankfully, I guess, I went back to guitar. So guitar was my thing. But when we did my song Lights Out, which turned out to be the closing theme for Blues FM, which is the song they'll play it, when I'm done, we had a person who said, let me play organ on that. And they sat down at the organ and they were, all over the place. Whoa, like, hey, I'm Jimmy Smith. And I said, I don't think that's going to work. I said, let me try. I'm going to do it. You let me do it. It's my song. We're co-producing. And I just went, and it was the perfect part. And then, wah, you hold it and turn the Leslie fast and then slow, wah, you hold it. So, but I would never say I was much of a keyboard player. I can play the harmonica. I could have brought it up for, I love the juice harp.
Oh, the juice harp, yeah.
I love to play a little bit, but I do know my limitations. But sometimes you can let your technique get in the way of the feeling, and that's when the music suffers.
So busy, but what were you keeping yourself busy with other than music? I mean, you must have had a hobby or something else that you decided to actually expand on.
Well, one thing I wanted to do was to write songs, and I wanted to get creative. And the radio has been a great thing for me because I walk from Cabbagetown to almost all the way to Liberty Village. I take a streetcar for a few stops usually, but it's right across the downtown. And I'm putting all of my love and all of my energy into the songwriting and into the radio show. And the songwriting has been really rewarding because I have a few still to release. I want to make an album, and I want the songs to be meaningful to anyone. The first song is kind of autobiographical. The next one's going to be about love and what happens and how you got to keep love together. Everybody can relate to that. But
Yeah.
you know, Yannick, I've also felt kind of a sense of calm that I'm no longer running around. I don't have the anxiety of chasing after little bar gigs where somebody passes a cup. Oh, please give the musicians some money. You know, that sort of thing. I mean, am I wrong? What else is pay what you can? How can you
Yeah.
devalue it to the point where, oh, just pay what you can? You go to the dry cleaners. Thank you. That'll be $50. Can I pay what you can? Oh, of course. Here's the tin cup. You know, come on, man. Music is so important. So we're spending
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
is.
time listening, loving music, and but you know what? Like, there's a lot of downtime, and I'm just trying to be cool because after all, you reach a certain age. There's no sense in trying to run after the rainbow.
It was because you released a single called "Man on the Radio," and the person who sent it to me said, "Hey man, this song could be about you," and I'm going, "Could be about me." And I looked at the title and I said, "Men on the Radio." It's probably written on many perspectives, but mostly on yours because that's what you were doing for and still are doing. So you decided to give this gift away, but it caught me off guard because I was expecting, yes, another blues tune from Danny. It's not exactly 100% blues, but there's influences in it that are spectacular. I wasn't expecting country licks being put into it in such a flamboyant fashion, but it's
Oh
amazing.
my God. There's my goosebumps. Excuse me. Yes, go on.
I just love it. It's 2 minutes 51, which falls in the grand scheme of songs that make a mark without bending your ear to the point that you say it's too long. I can't listen to it. It's actually quite the opposite.
We have a
And
long and a short version. You know that. There is a long version with a huge outro.
oh,
But
there is.
anyway, yeah, there's two versions because I asked, let's make one really short. You know, Yannick, we listen to a lot of music and you go like, when is this intro going to end? And they're going to start singing. And after a while, after a boring intro that doesn't get you excited, a crummy singer comes in and you go, why did you waste my time? But a great song has an intro that hooks you in right away. Leonard Cohen or whoever the hell it is, George Jones, you go, something's about to happen. Robbie Robertson, they know how to do that, right? So when you said country right now, I mean, I've spent more time listening to George Jones than just about any other damn singer in history. And I've also listened to Cocaine and Rhinestones, which is a great podcast about him and what a sad life he lived. Pig Robbins, is that the guy's name? He's probably the piano player I've heard more than any other one. He's the A-Team Nashville guy. Man, I love country music. I love it to bits. Not all of it, but I love it. And I love the blues. And there's even kind of a little chick thing going on in the bridge of Man on the Radio, because Bob Marley would be nowhere if he hadn't loved Sam Cooke. And I mean, this is music. For me to come out and try and sound like I'm a blues guy from Mississippi or to fake a blues voice when I'm singing would be so wrong, and yet so many people do it. And I'm not going to play blues licks because what's the sense? How many people are going to do the same licks? So,
Exactly.
you know, but one of my friends said to me, you sound like B.J. Thomas on vocal with Reggie Young on guitar. And I said, wow, like what the hell? Like that's right in the zone. Man in the Radio was about guys like you and me, the DJ, you know, and it is one by one because Yannick, if you get on the radio and you say, hey, everybody, somebody's going to be looking around going, it's just me. Who else is he talking to? Right? But radio was one-on-one. Sheila Rogers at CBC, she taught me that, and Arthur Black when I was with them. And they taught me well. And I'm really glad you like the song, man. Really
I do. It was a. When did you write it?
I wrote it about 2 years ago, maybe that long. You know, Axel would know, but it was at least a year ago. And I wrote it one night. She was away somewhere, and I sang it to her over the phone. And then she said, "Oh, that's good." And then I started working on it a bit, and then I let it sit. And then about maybe as long as 4 months ago, we started in earnest. But
Okay.
the problem was that when I first went to record it, we couldn't get a session. All the recording studios were freaking out about COVID, and even with people in separate rooms and everything. And so I found a wonderful man, Elliot Sarin, who's a great record producer. Elliot says, "I know how we can do it," and we did it with file sharing. So a lot of it was done at my house. The drummer did his thing at his place. But I recorded the demos where I play all the instruments. So I make the multi-track like a Stevie Wonder thing, first with the guitar, maybe with a click track, and sing the vocal. Then I add my bass, and there's still a click track that sounds a bit like drums. And then I got the phones on, I sit behind the drums, I record them, and then I might record some other guitars, maybe some backup. And then I give it to the guys, the musicians, and say, "Here's the demo." And they replace my tracks with properly played drums and bass and things. Not that I don't play properly, but I mean, like, I get real serious session guys to play, and they can hear where I'm going for instead of me saying, "I want it to be a little bit like," and words don't matter. So they hear my part and they go, "Okay," and then they play off of it. And I say, "Wow, what you did is great. It's different than what I did, but it's better." Or, "No, listen to my thing. You're missing the point." Or, don't. So I often tell drummers, please don't play pickups. Like, don't announce stuff's about to happen. Just play right into a change. So you don't go back, 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 a boom, and then suddenly there's the bridge. How many albums do you listen to by an artist that wants their music to be played? Song after song, you hear and then the music starts, or dakadu, bakadu, brakadu, brakadu. That's because the drummer is counting in every song, and before the music starts, after he goes 1, 2, bakadu, bagaboom, right? He gets his licks in, and you say, "That's not an intro." I'm back to intros again. But no. So in my demo, it was just boom, boom, like that. And the drummer did it, but he had a tom sound that sounded like it was full of jello. It was just like Ringo times 20. Man, eh? And he really did a good job. I've never met the guy, as far as I know. Doesn't matter.
Song, which is a single in 2 versions, uh, announcing a possibility of an album coming down the pipes?
Yes, I have the songs written. I have quite a few songs written, and I do want to make an album, and I'm toying with the idea of calling it Lifeline. I'm not sure if that's going to be the name in the end, but I do want to make an album. I don't necessarily want it to be any one genre, because I think blues is too small and it doesn't reflect my total musical affection. I mean, there are times when I don't want to hear anything but Jimmy Reed and T-Bone Walker, or Mississippi Fred McDowell, and that sort of thing. But there's other times when only George Jones is going to hit the spot, and Tammy Wynette and Chet Atkins and Merle Travis. And then there's other times when I want Little Richard is like, "What the hell?" Or Quinto Reimer. It's a mix-up world. I mean, and a lot of the time I listen to nothing but Ennio Morricone. And this is the big influence on my guitar playing, is orchestra and Segovia and classical and the concerto of Aranjuez. So I want to make an album, and I plan to make an album that's got these influences naturally together, because that's the honesty of who I am. I'm not, you wake me up in the middle of the night, I'm not going to talk like, "Hey man, that sort of thing, like the blues."
What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish, I was going to say jerk chicken. Um, I do like jerk chicken, but gee, I don't know if I have a favorite anything though.
Okay.
So that's a real problem for me. But I get, I was gonna say I used to say jerk chicken when I got that question.
Danny, thank you
Okay,
so
and
much.
a pleasure, and nice to see your face. Great to connect. We're